Hey, it's Webs here, and a new Hearthstone Mercenary event has started, this time for Y'Shaarj. The first task for this event is one that is actually not that bad to actually complete. It is to complete the Baron Geddon bounty with at least 2 pirates in Blackrock Mountain, and for this task I found 3 ways to actually do this. One with the probably best way to actually do it, and most of the other tasks. One with a really funny build that you could just do if you only have the pirates, and a third that any new player can do as long as they have 2 pirates to meet the condition. Hopefully, unlike the other events, we won't have any bugs to actually stop us from progressing this time around. I am going to be recording these a little in advance, so we'll see how it actually turns out. If there's any bugs that I find out about, I'll leave it down below. Alright, so let's begin with the first way I actually completed this task, which was using fire. I'm using Antonidas just because he seems to be the easiest for most people to have access to, and his equipment doesn't require you to actually farm any heroic bounty for it. But if you have access to either Chi-Ji or Belinda, I would use them over Antonidas. For Antonidas, we're using Cinder Core Staff. For Geddon, we're using Mark of Conflagration to increase his damage, and Ragnaros, we're using Blazing Rune. For the other 3 mercenaries, the rest are just filler to actually have the condition for the task. Doesn't matter what pirates you put out, you're not going to actually be using them to kill the boss. And for the second way that I actually managed to complete this task, I used pirates. Pirates are good as a standalone build for PvE at this point. If you have Patches with Arms Locker, Edwin with Black Flag, and Mr. Smite with Sharpened Scabbard, you should be able to clear this out pretty easily. And though if you don't have access to these, then you probably don't want to try to use this as a way to actually complete this task. And to get to the boss and with the boss fight itself, you are going to be using the first 3. The only reason Hooktusk and Vanessa are actually in here is to increase the likelihood of you getting treasures to increase the attack of your individual pirates. Other than that, this is an alright build to actually try to use, and I'll be showing you how to actually do the boss fight with it in a little bit. And finally, the most new player friendly build that I possibly could have, Xyrilla, Cariel, and Samuro. And the bench being just 2 pirates that you have access to, and Cookie, because why not? Samuro, we're using Burning Blade. Xyrilla, we're using Radiant Wand, and Cariel, we're using Tome of Light. For both your way up to the boss and the boss itself, you are going to be using the first 3 mercenaries. The others don't really matter in this team. You might have a little bit of a harder time than doing this with something like fire, but it is very new player friendly as long as you have the pirates. So let's begin with fire, then we'll go to pirates, and then we'll go to this build. Okay, time to do this with fire. We're going to be putting in Antonidas, Geddon, and Ragnaros. We're just going to use Fireball, then Geddon's stereotypical ability, and then finally Ragnaros' ability. If you have access to Belinda, just hard target the Geddon with Belinda instead. They're going to use Inferno. We'll kill one of the adds here. And the next turn, we should be able to finish this off pretty quickly. Okay, so we're going to be putting down Patches, Edwin, and Mr. Smite here. I did this a few times using this build. If you can actually high roll and get Wind Fury on Edwin, you just basically win. But in this attempt, I didn't. We're going to focus down Baron Geddon anyways here, and we're going to put up the taunt for Mr. Smite. Just because I think 2 out of the 3 of these actually do attack. And we did swap the Edwin to one of the adds, mainly due to the fact that the Edwin can get 2 hits off instead of just 1 by doing that. We're going to gain a bit of attack on our Mr. Smite. They're actually going to be able to kill Mr. Smite pretty quickly here. We'll put in Hooktusk, but if you get a little bit lucky with some of your treasures and such, this won't be necessary. And you're going to mainly be relying on both Edwin and Patches to actually do this anyways. we'll finish off one of the fighters just so we get a type advantage against Geddon on Uktas. We're going to spam up a bunch of pirates. And I had hoped this speed tide bug would actually be fixed by now, but I guess it isn't. And then we're just going to finish off Geddon this turn. And we might actually be able to just finish it off completely. Then put in Cookie, because why not? And now for the final way to complete this task, where we put in Blade Master, Zyrilla, and Ariel. I got lucky with the Wind Fury on Samuro, but it isn't actually necessary to complete this task. We're going to hard focus down Geddon, mainly because we do have access to the Wind Fury. Even if you don't, you probably should just hard focus Geddon down just to get him off of the board, because you do have Cariel protecting your other two mercenaries. We also do have the treasure that does AoE damage whenever Cariel does take damage, which helps a little bit, but isn't actually necessary either. Just going to put Smite down. Doesn't actually matter. We're just going to finish them off with Samuro here. Alright, I hope this video was helpful for the first event task for the Shiraj event. And if it was, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next task, bye-bye.